Delaney.
And it's Katie, and this is Classically Black Podcast,
where we talk all things classical music and being black in the profession.
with trap beats playing in the background.
Hey.
Hey, we're wrong. You know what makes me upset?
What?
It doesn't make me upset. It just makes me sigh. When someone that we both know asks us, like, he asks us like almost every week, like, so how's things going? Like, how I'll tell you who it is after. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I already, like, we're 30 seconds in. I already know I'm not going to edit this out. Like, he'll be like, so how's it going? Like, how are things going? It's an adult. Mm-hmm. Well, an adulter adult. Mm-hmm. And
I'm an adulter.
And I was just like, why would you ask it at this time in the semester? Morale is low. Okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, morale's at an all-time low.
Right. I'm like, what do you want me to say that?
And it's like, do I respect the fact that you're? I just don't know what you want me to say. It's like, I'm not.
If I respond with some ominous crazy, now I'm getting reported to the Care Network, and now I walk into my room and it's a circle of people.
Right. Time to do a seance.
But I'm not gonna lie to your face. So
I think I told him, I was like, morale is low. That's. And then I'll be like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Everyone experiences it, but it's just like, sis, don't ask me that. Like, this place does too much.
Way too much.
And I don't like doing things already. So now you want me to do multiple things at the same time.
That requires my brain, my body.
And most importantly, not my viola.
This is depressing. Let's get into this.
Half the listeners are like, whew, glad I'm done with that college junk.
This is just... Yeah, this is a depressing conversation because now I'm just thinking of everything I'm gonna have to do after we're done recording this. I can't be dragging out the episode.
Can you imagine? A 20-hour episode.
Still in a lock-in?
Not a lock-in. Shout out to church days. Did you ever go to a lock-in?
I don't think so.
Church lock-ins? So you play Bible games? Well, that's not really true. I don't remember what we did, but they were cute. Anyway, you got news this week?
Yeah, now I gotta try to shake off all the all the negativity from the intro.
It wasn't negative. I mean, morale is low. I mean,
it's just not even the negativity, but just it's weighing heavy on my heart already. So
I ain't finna hold you. Like, I feel a lot better because I had, like, a lot of people know based on complaints on my Instagram story that I had to turn in the comprehensive exam. It's not even like a big thing. It's like, you know, like a 15 to 25 page paper on a topic. So it's not long. It's just, you have to do it. I also waited till after my recital. So I did it in 3 days. Okay. Well, I don't think any of the faculty listened. The faculty that would care about it. So I don't know yet. I have to defend it in a couple weeks.
Your orals, I forgot.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those. Oh, those suck up on me. Mm-hmm. That was a lot going on. So that, I mean, I have to, like, I have this stuff to do that I've been not really putting off, but, like, must do. So, yeah. It's going to be great. Fun times had by all.
All right. So,
wow.
In news this week, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, once again, is in the news.
Not once again.
Apparently, the musicians and the management have reached an agreement with the help of the mayor of Chicago.
With the help of Rahm Emanuel?
Yep.
Help?
Yep. That's what it says.
That man is mad fraudulent. I'm glad he's finally doing something. Besides helping to send Illinois into the eternal pits of hell.
Go on.
Not go on. He's terrible.
That's Chicago TV.
Any Chicago listeners will be like, he has so much other things to do. Like, not be terrible.
Wow.
Anyway, keep going.
Katie for mayor.
I mean, I don't even... Chicago's a black mayor now. Oh, thank God.
Oh, we're right.
Like, I feel like in the hands of black people, things get done. That's why I was so disappointed
by assignments.
I was so disappointed by T'Challa. I mean, it's not a spoiler. It's just that...
No, but
I know. I didn't know. But I was just hoping that he would save the day. I just had that for my own personal gratification.
Mm-hmm. Which reminds me, I have to rewatch Black Panther for the 5th time, but oh well.
I've only seen it 3 times. There's people who've seen it like over 50. I mean, I it's good. You should.
But I feel like at a certain point, it's like, I don't want to be reciting lines and knowing, you know.
I also don't like watching movies more than, I typically don't watch movies more than once. It's just like a thing of mine. I'll go a while without.
Yeah.
Because I already know what's going to happen. I'm just weird like that.
Because I saw the first 2 times I saw it was like within maybe like 3 weeks of each other, and then probably like a couple weeks later I saw it again, and then I didn't watch it again until like maybe 6 months later.
Yeah, I wait like even when we saw The Avengers last year, I only watched it a second time because one, I thought it was good, and 2, I was so confused the first time and spent half my time on Google that I had to redeem. Anyway, sorry, the point.
So basically, on Friday, the musicians and the association, they released a statement thanking the mayor for holding a meeting with them in City Hall to reach an agreement about their contract, which the stipulations of that contract have not been released yet, but it's a 5-year contract. That's all we know. But basically the mayor and the association are like, we so glad to reach an agreement, blah, blah, blah. And then the musicians were like, we'll meet tomorrow to consider the details of a potential agreement. So I'm like, so
and not even like of an agreement, of a potential. I love them. I stand. They're like, you can either give us what we want or you can give us what we want. I stand. And I bet you that bass player is leading the pack.
Yeah, he on the negotiation committee.
I know he is. I just love them. What a great institution.
But the mayor was saying that they've reached an agreement in principle to bring music back to the Symphony Center. I was like, that means nothing.
That means nothing. I mean, yeah, we said that earlier. It's like we agree that classical music is valued. That's probably like we understand. That's the
as a principle. Like, of course, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra musicians and the association agree on that. Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't like we want the Chicago Symphony Orchestra to play? Yes, all parties involved want that. That is a principle. Yes, we would like that very much.
Yep. We would like everyone to be satisfied.
Yep. And then my dude on the bass was like, well, we rolling out till y'all. He probably like, squat up.
All
Let's
right.
go. Oh, I love him. I need to meet him.
So, basically Saturday, which is today, they're supposed to vote on it. But we haven't gotten anything, like any press releases, any news wise, like as you know, at the time that we're recording this, which is, I don't know,
it's 1:30
it's 1:30 in Chicago. So we'll see, probably by the end of this episode or something.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Okay, live, but not live because it comes out on Monday.
Right. We're like, we know.
Man, let me just work this down one so I can get to the Chicago Symphony because I need to be squad up with them because they bout it.
I mean,
they just
principle the Chicago Symphony.
They also accept nobody. Yeah.
That's because you haven't auditioned yet.
Let's move on. What's the second story?
They don't accept nobody. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how you know they're not gonna accept you? You ain't even auditioned.
I'm not there yet. Can we move on? Can we not talk about this in front of all these people?
So Katie, y'all see how I support Katie and her endeavors?
Huh?
And
you do what?
I support.
Yeah, you support. That's
all right.
Next story. I'm begging.
Support you in your endeavors.
I'm groveling. Please, groveling.
Right. Yeah, you are groveling. So you try to. I'm supporting. You're groveling. So we both not up to what we're supposed to do.
What is the next story?
I got time.
I'm not the only one. They don't have time. I am not the only one who wants you to move on.
You don't know that. At this moment, you are. They're withholding the next story until no.
40 minutes of silence. Did I leave it?
All right. So this next story has been. What did I find this yesterday? 2 days ago, when it came out. Yeah, 2 days ago when it came out. So I'm scrolling, minding my own business on Facebook.
Typically, that's what I hate. You're literally in a good mood, minding your business,
right? Which is rare for these times because school, intonation, and the like. So, but I see a headline talking about Peabody's black students report discrimination. I was like,
I saw that too.
I was like, what are we talking about? So first of all, the article starts out with a doozy. So a Peabody student, who's actually now an alum, experienced a seizure during an orchestra rehearsal. And instead of people asking, are you having a medical emergency, whatever, like, are you okay? Can we get you something? They asked him, is he on any drugs? He's having a seizure. This is not he didn't sneeze. He had a seizure.
Can you imagine what I don't even know what I would do. Also, never mind.
What?
Nothing.
What was that?
I'll tell you later.
Catherine.
No, I'll tell you later.
I gotta put that in my notes so I remember to ask you. But basically, so this article is pretty long.
Yeah,
it's pretty long. And it's full of just like a bunch of microaggressions that have been building up over time. So we're just gonna go through a little bit of what's been going on over at Peabody. So there
over at Peabody, what y'all been doing? I'm sorry, people be talking about their experiences. I'm like, how do y'all go through that?
When I was reading this, I was like,
first of all, I'm not the 1, 2, or the 3. I don't care who you are. You're not going. I've taken that on. I don't mean like, yes, in certain things I scale it back, but you're not. I have this general persona that you're not going to talk to me anyhow.
Any kind of way.
I don't care who you are. You're not going. Like I don't
get people who have teachers like that. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And how are you supposed to learn from that person?
Like, yeah, I play out of tune, but you could say it without that on your voice, like, nah.
And like little funny stuff that GT be saying to me, that you ain't have to say all that. Mm-hmm. Like that's different because he respects me as a person. He respects me as a violist. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, when I tell you, I would have been so quick to the office to get a new teacher. Are you done?
Continue. Ain't nothing even going on.
You really gonna lie before God? First of all, people know well enough that you must be doing something. Delaney's a child. Okay, classically adolescent podcast.
All right.
Continue. I made my point. You didn't know because you were doing that.
Nah, but so basically the main claims in this article from members of Peabody's Black Student Union is that that Peabody's Office of Student Affairs has treated Black students unfairly and makes the campus and the climate unwelcoming for minority students. Some of the stuff, like, we've been over this, but some of the stuff I was reading, I couldn't even imagine. Like, when I was deciding where to go to school, it was between Peabody and Eastman. You know how hot I would have been if I got there and was dealing with some of this stuff. Like, obviously it's different depending on what you're doing, because there's some things in the article, people talking about their studio teacher was out of line. Mm-hmm. Some people it's just the office. It depends. But I would have been hot. And yeah, I would have been hot. But anyway, the BSU alleged that they informed the Office of Student Affairs like what they were going through, and that they outlined their experiences of discrimination and all that, and they didn't pass the complaints along to the proper disciplinary bodies that they were supposed to. They have something called the Office of Institutional Equity, and they filed a complaint against the Student Affairs office with that office, because I think that's just like above their head. So they filed that complaint against them, and one of the students, who's the BSU co-president, she filed that against a specific person in the office, and then apparently that person in the office started telling people, oh, what's her name, she filed a complaint against me, whatever.
I'm literally like, cannot do,
which is literally, they have a confidentiality agreement in place so you cannot do things like that. But then on the other hand, the student who she's quoted in this article, she said that when she goes to the office, that same person, and asks like, this incident I reported, has it been handled? Has this student been held accountable for what they did to me? Whatever. The lady's like, well, I can't tell you yes or no because it's confidentiality. She's like, so only white students get confidentiality? Because you all across campus. First of all, you're grown. Why are you spreading things about students across campus when you're doing the wrong?
And especially you're spreading them to students, because we all know faculty members, they might get together and talk about students. I don't know about the collegiate level, but I know like I've talked about students, not in a terrible way, but like you just want to be like, I might want to go down to the math teacher and see what's going on. Like teachers talk about other students, but you're not even talking about them with your colleagues. You're talking about them with other students, your favorite students. That's trash.
They also added that some upper level Peabody administrators have failed to hold the Student Affairs office accountable for their mistakes. But they said that some of the like way upper level people, like the dean, some people up there have been pretty responsive. But the people in the student affairs office, since that's where they're supposed to go with their issues like that, they get upset when they go over their head. But it's like, y'all not doing anything.
Exactly.
So,
and that's not hard to believe. I think I told you when we first read this article, it's like, you know what I'm saying, look at the dean of our school. He goes above and beyond to try to like make sure the voice of the students are heard, and like tries to meet with them if you want to talk to him about stuff. I mean, but also Eastman ain't trash. So there's the people who are on the line to get. It's rare that you're gonna really. It has to be like something really big, like the thing that we had a couple of weeks ago. But it's like you know, the people at Eastman actually care about their students. So it's like the line to get to, you know, Dean Rossi, it don't really happen that much, because, you know, I couldn't imagine dealing with this, going to somebody and be like, this is a concern that I have, and it'd be like, well, child, y'all, okay.
Just to give some more examples about things that have happened. So the BSU had reserved a room for their meetings, and they reserved it. All was good, and then they get a message talking about, well, the Office of Residential Life has claims to this room, y'all can't use it. So then someone who was in the BSU, who was a RA, checked the room availability. The room was available. So when they went to the office, with this like information, the person responded, quote, that she had other priorities than the black students at this school.
And we'll tell y'all to reach across that counter and grabbed her by her neck. Sometimes you just gotta be wild. You know what I'm saying?
World star.
I wouldn't have done all that, because I'm not a violent person, but I would have had something to say.
Right? Could you, to your face? To your face.
I would have said something very rude.
Right now, I'm in the dean's office looking like, well, what you gonna say to me because you hired her?
Exactly. No, I would have said something very rude.
Like,
I would have said something very rude.
Because she said something very rude, so we just keeping that same energy back.
I'm saying keep same energy. Yep.
Right back. So I just couldn't believe that. There's a lot of different things in the article. Some things that they said can't even be disclosed because of the complaints. If there are things that they reported, since the confidentiality of them, you can't they couldn't disclose them in the article.
Also, now they honoring confidentiality. That's good. Well done.
Right. Several people declined to comment. Of course, some of the people
talking about they wasn't available. I'm like, they was available because she was available to gossip about the black student. I'm like, she was available. You should have went right in there and asked her.
Right.
You campus time should have went. Is it campus times? That's what ours is called. You should have went right up into that office and asked her. Right. And what's her name too? Say her name. What's her name?
There's a couple of them.
That's fine.
So the first one, let me find her first and last name.
Right. First and last. She got social security on there. All right. Address. Blood type, something? Just first and last name?
So, Director of Student Affairs, Kylie Sommer, and Coordinator of Student Leadership and Involvement, Colleen Strouk. Whatever.
Don't matter.
Right.
Wow. It's like, what's the point of working with students if you're not going to cater to all students?
Right.
And like, I think
and then tell them that.
And
right. I have other priorities besides the black students here. What?
And it's like, what? Because like, you know, I think people have a problem with black people speaking up for themselves because like, y'all like to bring race into everything and blase. I'm like, first of all, our country was built on racism. It's going to be about race. Mm-hmm. Secondly, like, you're not catering to the students. Third, black students have different needs than white students. That's just something you should have known when you went into working in student affairs. Mm-hmm. If you couldn't handle that because you didn't want to deal with the blacks and their problems again, then you should do something else.
Right. And then you have a BSU, and I'm thinking of like, I saw in some of the comments on like people who shared this article, people talking about like other music schools that also have BSUs, and I'm like, Eastman was a bit late to the game in that, like, to have one. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you have one to help your office better cater to black students, and then you treat them this way.
Exactly.
Like some schools were just, just giving out, just doing blanket things for all students, and didn't have that aspect to cater to black students, and you have one. That's taking some of the weight off of you.
Exactly.
And then you're treating them poorly.
And then something like some toddler junk about how if you get mad at one of the black students and they mad at everybody, I'm like,
they probably all think you're the same person. So
that's true. I wouldn't even be pressed. Like, honestly, like, I know, like, this is your experience and I don't go to Peabody, but to be honest, it's like, maybe she just thought you was the same as somebody else. Like, they probably think you all the same.
That's
so yeah, I would just go back and ask her. Because Because honest to God, they probably only think there's like one black girl and one black boy. They're probably like,
man, that one student.
And you know what? This all makes sense because why would they rent a room to 2 people?
That's true. They probably just think it's 2 of y'all.
Yeah, honest to God, like I would just go back. Because this could clear this all up. Because like probably like, why can't y'all just use a practice room?
Right.
Yeah. Go back.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah, it is.
We're annoying. So there's been so the office that I previously mentioned, the office of I forgot, it was something equity. But a student the one that had the seizure. I mean, his name is printed in the article. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's out
no
there.
Point.
So,
yeah.
He filed a report against his studio teacher, which I was like, you got to be in lessons with
exactly. It's not even like a classroom teacher.
Big problem. It's got to be a big for you to.
I mean, some of the stuff he was saying about how could you afford to go do this and that.
Yeah, like some of the things he said that he couldn't even fully disclose the details of his experience because of the report and the confidentiality associated with it. But he said that a number of discriminatory events occurred both by teacher and the students in his studio, and the teacher never said anything about them and just let them slide.
Wow, I couldn't. You spend so much time with your studio teacher. You know what I'm talking about? Like over the course of my graduate study, 14 weeks in a semester times 6 semesters is how much time I had Miss Taylor, plus extra lessons and studio class. That's a lot of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like I couldn't imagine like not being able to trust that person, dealing with microaggressions. Child.
And the fact that professors are mandated reporters when things like this go on. You have to report when there are racist incidents, and he said that teachers would not.
But that tenure gonna have them just fine.
Right. They said that there's a lot of issues with older teachers using outdated language and just
like what?
Right. It don't say, but they also said that they've had issues with students using racial slurs and nobody doing anything about it.
I wish the hell one of these Eastman students would come talk to me crazy.
When I tell you, I don't even care about. I'll get kicked out for real.
I'll get kicked out for real.
I get kicked out for real.
This a PSA. I don't got but 3 weeks left at this place, but shorty, low, let me tell you.
For a lot of things, but
when do y'all come up to me and say something crazy?
Call me out my name, and I mean,
let's. I don't got but 3 weeks left, but that's fine. Y'all can send my junk in the mail. Right. You heard me?
You gonna be digging my bow case up out your anyway. So
not the case. The case? Not even the case?
No, not the bow.
Oh, you right.
Yeah, my case on his last legs anyway. So
I've never a student. Oh. Who y'all got the heart of Jesus Christ himself and the stupidity of somebody else, because honestly you ain't saying nothing. A studio maid
couldn't be me, could not be me.
You don't dust
and y'all double read players now I gotta read knife week. Nah.
Right.
Right. I'll be like, so you want to run that back and try that again while I got this read knife in my hand? Because
wow, I wish the hell somebody in my studio. I can't even.
First of all, your studio teacher is black. Could you imagine?
My studio teacher is black, so now we both. But you know what's crazy? Well, first of all, I still got one more studio class, so let me knock them. But my studio is like very unique. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's one of the more diverse studios at Eastman. And not just aside from our teacher. It's just like the whole studio, we got a little bit of everything. It's like, that's what the whole school should look like, to be honest. And I mean, it's fantastic. So I can't, and I've always had this, and before my studio at ISU was way smaller, way more intimate. So it's like, I just can't fathom experiences in the people talking about this stuff. I'm just like, the people that I've been around in the studio class, I can't even, y'all saying slick stuff, y'all, microaggressions, even people who got simple studio junk where people say slick stuff about your playing. I haven't had that experience. Yeah, because especially here at Eastman and Miss Taylor's studio, everybody mind their business. They'd be like, sis, you really could work on this and this, but it was good though, and I like how you did this and I like how you did that, but like you really should that. Ain't nobody being like, well girl, how many more weeks for you quit? Like, y'all really going through it, huh?
So I'm not gonna go through like every little thing because the article is pretty long, and I'll link it so that people can read it, and I highly recommend reading it. But I just want to address something in the article that I'm like that was expressed by one of the students that I just don't agree with. So one of the students, which is like the main one that they've been interviewing, said that part of the reason why they feel so unwelcome, that's been really exacerbated by international students, who have not encountered Black people before going to Peabody.
That's not my fault, sis.
Right, and it says that they treat them insensitively, and that their ignorance, the ignorance of the international students, is stemmed from limited programming to, like, I guess. This is a quote. She said, "There are no resources being offered to these students to try to help them understand that we're not dirty. There's a lot of people who just assume their Black roommates are dirty or just don't know what to make of them, and that can be really isolating." I just feel like just because you've never met a Black person before doesn't mean it's not your fault when you treat Black people like trash.
Exactly. You don't need programming to be a good person.
Exactly. Because I may not have, you may be from Turkey and I never met nobody from Turkey before. That doesn't mean I think you're dirty, and that doesn't mean I'm going to treat you like trash. I just don't think, she goes on to say a lot of the things about like how they're just not used to being a Black people. They're not, they need programming to help them learn how to navigate. I'm like, you don't need to know how to navigate me. I'm a person. I don't think that, like, I really did not agree with that. She's like, what, like, I get cultures are different, and there may be a different culture about how you treat strangers and that sort of thing. Like, I get that might be different in other countries, but I do not think that we can just not blame people for treating people, like, not treating you like a person.
This happened, I don't remember if you were, this reminded me of something that happened maybe about a month ago. Remember that the Instagram girl, Just Hilarious?
Yes.
And she said all those like hateful things about the Sikh people that were on her plane.
Which she called Muslim. They weren't.
And literally at the worst possible timing, because it just happened on the heels of the
New Zealand shooting.
And she was like, y'all gotta teach me, and I'm just trying to learn. I'm like, first of all, you're not trying to learn because it was fueled by hate. Secondly, you in the age of our dear friend, our dear sis Google, don't nobody have to don't nobody have to teach you nothing.
For
Google
real.
it.
And you sound dumb because you're not trying to learn, because you released a follow-up video.
Exactly.
Saying, y'all not going to say nothing to me. Y'all going to learn from me one day. Y'all going to know that I'm right. You released a follow-up video. So you released 2 follow-up videos.
Exactly.
After the initial one. So
and they had another get on Instagram after that and try to get some tears to flow. You should put some eye drops in or something, sis. Because I hate when people try to make an apology and they trying to cry and
ain't nothing coming out.
Nasty. Girl, put some eye drops in. Lemon juice, something.
Your eyes bone dry.
And she do that thing with her voice, sound like a tethered. I just girl, no. So it's like, you just stop. Don't be a trash person. If you don't know, be quiet.
Right.
And also at the same time, like, one of my closest friends here at Eastman, my first 2 years here, was my friend from China. Mm-hmm. She came here. This was her first time in America. She wasn't stroking my hair.
Right. And that was also another incident that happened with somebody in orchestra rehearsal touching her hair.
In orchestra we gonna have to, my blood pressure getting high. I'm getting high.
And that's not even like, and that's one thing, but just to say that they're treating you insensitively and they need programming to teach them that you're not dirty. Girl, what?
Meanwhile, never mind.
Let's get into it.
All I'm gonna say is Lori Hall sure do smelling like a farm around this time of year. Thank God for this little
when
bit.
I walked in, I sent you the picture when I walked up. I got off the elevator on my floor. When I tell you my face contorted into a facial expression I ain't never even seen, felt, or heard before. I don't even know. I just when I that smell. I said you are too old to be smelling like this.
When I tell you that we have to thank God for this little bit of snow. I know it's in April, but it's going to keep the main hall of Eastman from smelling like a farm. Because people going to have to put their coats on. It's not going to be warm. That's all I'm going to say on that matter.
I just don't think, like, I don't know what it is about Black people that makes other people feel like they have to navigate.
Right.
That's always the word that they use. I don't know how to navigate this interaction. I am a person just like you. My skin is just darker. And like I like you, of course there are things like black culture is very different and all that, but you don't have to
lit.
Right. But the thing is, like, okay, black people, we act different around each other, like we be lit or whatever, but you don't have to try to insert yourself into that in that way and adopt
what up
things.
Home dog.
Yeah, you don't have to black it up to talk to black people. You can be yourself, and then we can just be our individual people talking and interacting with each other.
Exactly.
That's the difference that I feel like people are not getting. Because like I don't know what it is, but people feel like you gotta navigate this. Like you don't. I'm just a person.
Exactly.
Like and I'm not trying to make it be like it's just skin color is nothing. That's like you know,
but that's a different argument. Just like treating people to people in this context, like
it's just basic interaction.
Exactly.
Just the barest of things. Ridiculous.
I couldn't tell you. And
I don't think so. That's one thing I'm like, I don't even think they need to be focused on programming for. I mean, maybe etiquette classes because y'all don't got no manners at all
across the board.
Really,
not just at
on
Peabody.
multiple things.
And like, what would that even look like? This is Taiwana. She's black,
right?
Like, what kind of program is that?
She's not dirty. Like what?
Yikes.
I just don't.
Actually, I would advise y'all not to have programming.
Yeah.
The more I think about it. This is why blackface is wrong.
Right. I would just advise y'all to, I don't know, purge y'all student affairs office or something, or because it just don't seem to be working. Or I don't know what kind of training y'all need. I don't know what
training. Just clear out the whole thing. At this point, clear out the whole thing.
But that's what's going on over there. Like I said, purge it. So. Because whatever you got set up is not working. They have a couple of things in place to facilitate discussion between black students and like have their concerns, listened to and everything. But like they said, there are people higher up that are listening to them, but the people that are like in the office like with them, yeah, they said it's very clear where the disconnect is. So those are the people that y'all need to see what's good with and give them their
2 weeks
termination. Yeah. So last but not least, we're gonna end on a good note. So Seattle Public School, what
I said, thank God.
So the Yamaha Corporation of America has donated $100,000 worth of new instruments to Seattle Public Schools.
Ooh.
It's going to benefit more than 1,300 students in 9 schools across the district. So
what? Are you okay?
My brain is literally like, it's like, Swiss cheese got like holes in it. That's what my brain is at this point in the semester.
So you know what? Actually, I'm okay. Is that all the news?
But shout out to Yamaha for being that corporation.
Wow. We are moving on. Okay, so the intermission this week. We actually have already done this, but I kind of forgot. This intermission was in the Atlantis episode.
Right.
R.I.P. So that there's a meme that's been going around for a while now. It's probably making its slow transition out.
Yeah, it was more in its height when we did that episode, but technology. So
so there's a meme going around where it will say like nobody, and then it will say something that nobody asked for. Right. So that's the thing. I think I told you before. It's like Kid Fury said he didn't really understand it. Like it should be something worded differently. I'm like, no, it makes perfect sense. Like nobody said anything, and then someone's saying something that ain't nobody asked for you to say. So I just thought it would be fun if we did our own little version of this. So what you got?
So the first one is nobody. My teacher, you're a quarter tone sharp. His favorite little line.
Has he said that more than once?
No.
Oh, thank God.
But he's taught it in every lesson. So he said that verbatim once, and then variation, and then like another time or like a variation on it.
Variations on the theme,
right?
By your bass teacher. Speaking of teachers, well, this one's over now. I'll leave that one alone. But nobody, and then here go Mr. Taylor. So what are your plans next year? Now you know good and well that I don't know what my plans are next year. Why you gotta be so loud? And it'd be like when I come in, you know, let me get settled. You know what I'm saying? Let me unpack. You know what I'm saying? Let me tune, get my music out, spread out on the stand. Why would you gotta be so loud from the jump? You know what I'm saying? I have a problem with that. And my mom was like, he's just curious. He just wants to know. He's trying to help you. I'm like,
Curiosity killed the cat. Okay.
Say less.
How many times we got to tell y'all that?
Oh yeah, you said you got one for me. Okay, what is it? I forgot it.
Nobody at all.
Okay.
Not even one single.
Okay.
Then Katie, you know what would be cute? With the little eye emojis too. If it's not in person, then
okay,
it's with the
but
eye
it's
emojis.
normally cute though.
She said this yesterday. What was it? Oh yeah,
that would be cute. I don't know how I would do that though. So I told you that prematurely. I normally hash things out first and then badger you with cuteness.
Well,
with cuteness.
Badger me.
Okay. Nobody. Here go Delaney. The DC got hot fries.
It do. So when it do, it barely ever had the hot fries.
Hot fries. Delaney and I have this discussion. Hot fries are disgusting.
They're not disgusting. You did say they were disgusting before.
Hot fries? No, 'cause I thought, okay, on the scale, if I think at the bottom of the totem pole will definitely be hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos are gross.
But I don't. For me, hot fries aren't much above that because I love the hot popcorn so much because it has like a cheese undertone.
Total hot fries.
But I don't like hot fries. I mean, maybe
when was the last time you had hot fries though?
Okay.
Before you were vegan.
Even before, I'm not a snacker. I mean, I had those because like I was literally starving when you came here. But I'm not a snacker, so maybe years before I even started being vegan, I used to not like hot fries for the longest. I didn't start liking hot fries again probably till like I was well into high school. Probably like my senior year of high school is when I started liking hot fries. I always hated them because I don't like the texture is off. Because they softer.
I don't know.
And I'm not a texture person. I don't know.
It's been a minute. Hot fries are delicious. So.
Got another one?
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Nobody. Beethoven. What?
I was not expecting. I forgot that you did that one. That's so sad.
I'm gonna get off of Beethoven's neck soon enough.
Aww. Dang. Okay. For composers, I got Nobody. Strauss. You know what might could go if I wrote a tone poem about Don Juan? It gonna go like this.
All right.
That piece, I have a love-hate relationship with that piece. Cause like I ain't gonna lie, it feel good when you can like play it. Like
I wouldn't know. No, I'm just kidding. Don Juan is one of my I can't even say that now. It used to be a strong excerpt.
I couldn't imagine. I can't wait to get to the day where I'm like, yeah, Don Juan go. It's straight.
Well, I mean strong in relation to my other excerpts. So which is not saying much.
For fast excerpts,
I actually don't have that many excerpts under my belt. Anyway,
I think my strong excerpt that's fast would be Mozart 35. That John.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
I took some of the notes out because my tongue was getting tired.
I was like,
the remix version. Okay, so we are moving on. If you have your nobodies, send them in. We want to hear them. We want to read them. You can comment them under the what's it called post when I post on Instagram. And we are
what's this called?
And
make sure you do one for Katie. Oh, you know what would be rude? Somebody. I'm not gonna say that. Nothing.
If they did one like based on stuff they hear on the podcast.
Yeah, someone was like, nobody, then Katie. Class Super Podcast.
You're trash for that. You're trash for that.
You know what took me down in the last episode when I was editing it? When you said, email us at Classically Black Podcast. And then you moved on and you were like, wait, it's at gmail.com. And I was like, nah, just email us at Classically Black Podcast. It'll work. It'll go
get
through.
There. Somewhere in the ether.
I was like, I was like, if you get an error message back, then that's just us telling you that we got it.
Trash. Did you edit that out?
No.
Oh.
Why would I?
We're moving on. That's the point. We're leaving. We're to the next thing. Okay, so we all know about 2 weeks ago. Are you okay? I know I'm concerned. Are you okay?
Trying to make it through.
Beyonce blessed our entire lives about a week and a half ago in ways that, you know, I always say, like, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Beyonce, and I enjoy her music. I'm not in the Beehive, but that's a lot of things. I just enjoy her music. She's on my regular playlist. But like, someone said to me, I think it was Nikki, she was like, well, if you enjoy her music, then you're in the Beehive. I'm like, no, I don't think that's it, because the Beehive, like, my cousin's friend is in the Beehive, and my cousin found out that Beyonce was pregnant with twins. So she texted her friend and was like, congratulations. And her friend was like, thank you. Like, that's what someone said something. Some celebrity said something about Jay-Z a couple weeks ago. Do you remember who it was? Said something about how they saw Jay-Z at a party. Someone will let us know. They saw Jay-Z at a party, something, and they were like, oh my God. So it was Tia Mowry. No, it was Tamara Mowry. I don't know her real last name now. Her new last name. Tamara Mowry saw her somewhere. She said it on The View. No, it's not The View. The Read.
Whatever they got. Yeah, they got something.
Yeah.
The discussion. I don't know.
Right. Everybody, The View. I don't know. It's
the
something.
talk.
Yeah,
the
right.
Text.
She said something about Jay-Z, about how, like, she thought he was very attractive back in the day, blase. And the Beehive went to her Instagram and started leaving bees.
Yeah.
Like, he has several kids with Beyonce. And she also has several kids with her situation.
That don't mean nothing.
That is true. But
to Jay-Z especially. So
anyway, the point is, I really enjoyed Homecoming. She released it on Netflix. It was fantastic. I was like invigorated from the moment she started walking. Beyonce's walk. What was she? I almost teared up a little bit. I'm like, this is amazing. Like,
Beyonce. I'm not gonna get into it because it's too emotionally overwhelming.
It was like she walked in with the crown and stuff, and like, and the band.
What the hell? I'm just so glad I'm alive in this era.
Yeah.
And Beyonce isn't just like something I
had to read about.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like such an emotional experience. Just like, even from the very beginning, like, it was just fantastic. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Homecoming, how it relates to classical music. We found an article comparing it to opera. So we're gonna just talk through this a little bit and to see what the implications are for classical music. So here we go. What was your, like, I already said mine. I was like, it was emotional when she walked out with her outfit, and it was just like, also the cinematography helped a lot. Like, I don't mind live performances. Coachella does not look fun at all.
Especially after that. Oh, you already sent me that.
Like, it doesn't look like fun. I don't mind crowds. My mom would rather. My mom wears acrylics. Mm-hmm. My mom would rather me take off every single acrylic.
That surprised me when I saw. I was like, okay.
My mom.
Come on.
Oh yeah, my mom.
I was like,
She stayed with the eyebrows done. Ina be out here.
Listen.
Ina don't play, and she stayed at the beauty shop every 2 weeks to get her.
Oh right.
My mom, she be out here. But so my mom would rather you peel off every single one of them before she goes to a crowd. Like, my mom hates crowds.
I hate crowds.
I don't mind crowds, but it doesn't look like fun. Also, it looks like it stinks. Also,
I'm sure it stinks
of several things: weed, bodily
fluids.
Fluids.
It's probably very moist in there.
The ground is wet for various reasons. Piss, other secretions. So
possibly things you've never heard of
or smelt.
You're gonna leave a lot of question marks up your nose.
The sound must have been cacophonous. Had to be. However, I wouldn't have wanted to experience it then, because the way that the cameras like were panning and like combining things is like, I enjoyed it so much more just being in front of my computer. Mm-hmm. So that was my overall impression. How about you?
Stunned, dumbfounded, shell-shocked. What's another one? Flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted,
another one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. paralyzed in amazement.
Yeah. Oh, okay, in amazement.
Yeah. Let's see. It's just that everything that Beyonce does is thought out. There's nothing in that performance that she didn't think about.
Did not think about.
Like every tiny little detail.
It's so. It was just
the artistry. Your fave could never, even on their very best day.
On their very best.
And I feel like, you know what I thought about when I was seeing her, like, just being herself. You remember how that concert that Michael Jackson did, where he had people passing out, getting pulled up, getting taken out on stretchers? Beyonce's almost there.
Almost.
She's almost there.
Like one of my favorite parts of it was when it pans to the crowd. People are literally like the one guy got she threw a sweaty towel at him, and he like he looked like he started to ascend on high. He was like, I think the only thing that kept him from seeing Christ that day was the fact that why would you give up the sweaty towel to go see Christ right now? Right. That's because
Christ is like, I mean,
you could stay,
keep it and bring it with you when you come up, because I want it as well.
Like, I think that's the only thing from, like, he was just so, like, the energy was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like
the look on people's faces, like
when they saw her.
When
Crystal posted a still of a girl who stood out to me immediately. It was like in like the first 5 or so minutes, where her face was just like in shock. Yeah, and Crystal was like, "This girl gets it."
Yeah,
it's like,
because when I tell you, so when I did the Super Bowl, I don't think about this a lot just because it's emotionally overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But when Beyonce walked in, we were in the studio thing but they had what do they call it? I forgot what they call it I think it's like blocking or something, when they just do like the stage places, like when you're in your places and you do your steps. Mm-hmm. And Beyonce walked in, was very quiet because, you know, everybody gonna be, it's Beyonce. Like, you're not supposed to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I was just like observing. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until she started running through some of her routine, just for places and stuff, and then Crazy in Love started playing. So I grew up on Beyonce, so Crazy in Love is very much like early on, and like so it just started bringing back memories. When I tell you, I was ugly crying.
Really?
I like ugly crying. Like it wasn't even like the first time I saw her, but it was the first time I saw her perform. Yeah. And she wasn't even fully performing, because when they're practicing, she doesn't do like all of that. Right. She'll be like walking, not even fully singing, you know? Like, but just the music of Crazy in Love. When I tell you, it was before people were like, Delaney, you have to calm down. We have to go on in like 30 seconds. I was like, I was like my mama had just died. I was literally hyperventilating.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's why I'm like, maybe once a year or so, I'll watch the Super Bowl over again just for that. But I cannot think about it. It's Beyonce.
Yeah, you freaking met Beyonce. That's crazy.
When I saw that girl's face, I was like, like that's how, just because it's an experience.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Just to see her perform is an experience. Like let's move on, because you can't make sense out of nonsense. So.
What were your favorite parts? Like, I had a couple. Like, first of all, the thing, I mean, kind of tied in with initial impressions. Like, so all the string players were black. The whole entire orchestra was black, and a lot of the brass players were from historically black universities, which is what I appreciated so much, because especially since like I follow band culture, I'm just really into it. Like I follow JSU, I follow
You going to homecoming?
What?
We going to homecoming?
You won't go with me, so what's the point of asking me?
It's not what? Depending on the school.
JSU? I've been asking you to go to JSU for me for
I wouldn't go to that homecoming. My friend has invited me to Spelman Morehouse homecoming.
I mean, I would go to that, but I don't really watch their band. I would go to, like, I watch like I
just feel like the experience is something it would be crazy.
It would, like, I would, but I want to see homecoming, like, because I just want to see the bands. You know, I follow Southern a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of Southern. Southern has one of the best bands out there, and then of course Alcorn State, because they dancers are like just like ratchet. Not ratchet. It's like refined ratchet. It's like they're artists. They're not just like doing nasty stuff. They're dancing in the majorette style, but like they buck. So I follow band culture. So I was just so excited to see like the fact that she drew from those bands, and a lot of them are from FAMU, and FAMU has probably the best band in the country. I mean, I don't go to HBCU, so someone could argue that, whatever, but they have they boring, but they have one of the best bands. So it sounded like almost like an orchestral sound. Like, it just sounded so good. It was like, because a lot of these bands have not of these bands, but a lot of the, like, if I think about JSU, like, they sound incredible to me, but the brass sound is like way more abrasive and like stuff like that. Even Peyton talks about that, like how he would worry about his chops if he were to study trumpet at like a historically Black university, because of the playing that's required for that style of marching band is not really in line with like the classical style necessarily in some things. So the band sounded like almost like orchestral, like it was round and like resonant. It was like so beautiful to hear. Like, that was like one of the things that stuck out to me immediately. I'm like, they sound good, like, period. It was just really good. How about you? What's one thing that stuck out to you?
Well, it's just how Black it was, because I remember when Formation came out. I don't know if you saw that video. It was when Formation came out. They released like a satire video. It was like a news flash that Beyonce was Black, because when Formation came out, everybody was like, she doing all this, and it was like this video, and it was like a news thing, like everybody was going crazy, like, Beyonce is Black. Yeah. Oh my God, like, you know, all this, because like, Beyonce has reached this point in her career where she like, I'm Beyonce, what y'all gonna do?
Exactly.
You know? And so she, like she said, she blacked it up. She just made every single aspect of that, like, I'm Black, I'm not, fame don't change me, still got hot sauce in my bag, blah blah blah, like, and she just exuded that, like, for the whole performance, everything. So I was just like,
yeah, and I love that, because I said it last week, you know, I'll say that later again, but I love how Beyonce's always been like that. It's like she's always remained true to her Blackness, and I'm not saying other performers haven't. I'm just saying, like, that's always been something that's been at the forefront, which has been really cool. Another thing that stuck out to me was the homage to Greek life. Everyone know I'm Greek, Sigma Gamma Rho. So when I saw, like,
everyone thinking that you're from Greece,
you know, okay. You would have to be. Never mind.
Katie, Mykonos.
Okay. Everybody know I'm a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and so when I saw the homage to Greek life, I'm like, yo, I like this. Also, when Destiny's Child came out, like that, like, I didn't grow up on Beyonce as much as I grew up on Destiny's Child. So when I saw Destiny's Child come out, like, that made me really emotional. And freaking Kelly, like, girl, what's good? Like, what do you? Kelly, like,
wow.
Okay, but you know what you were doing when you did that, so don't wow me. Kelly looks amazing.
What's Michelle look like?
She looks fine. Kelly could hold her own. I just really enjoyed that. Okay, so of course everybody, the internet's going crazy. So I'm like, how could we talk about this?
Oh, you know what I forgot to mention before I let go? We have to. Forgot that. I was like, I did not. When I heard that she had done it, because I heard that through Twitter, because I know it was in the credits, but I heard that through Twitter. I was like, before I had even listened to it, I was like, I did not even know that I needed this until now. But you know how long this misses I heard before I let go? So I was like, first of all, I had to listen to the original version first. I was like, and then when I heard Beyonce, I'm just like,
she's amazing. And it's genius.
It's to do that, like,
to do that.
Amazing.
It's so
like
Black
for the culture. Like,
it's so Black
to take such a cookout classic,
right?
And just be like, here y'all go again, just in case y'all forgot how much you enjoyed this song. I'm gonna remind you twofold. Like,
it was.
What? All right, now we can move on.
So the internet's going crazy, and I'm sitting like, how could we make this into? How could we incorporate this into classically Black? Like, I mean, because Beyonce is amazing, but at the end of the day, she's not a classical musician and classically. But CNN did the work for me, so
right.
Everyone was passing this article around. What is it even called? Beyonce's Homecoming: Why the Opera World Should Take Notes, and that made my ears go up.
Me too.
Then
they went no.
So the premise I should know from my research that you should not rely on the title of an article. The title of the article is not abstract, and I should have known better. So I was like, hey, here we go. Let's do this. And I read the article, and Delaney will say the same, not the same, but similar, that it was just a little bit disappointing because it really wasn't it really wasn't cohesive. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just reading. That's the perfect word, cohesive. It just wasn't cohesive at all. Like, and especially the comparisons that were made between. I was just like, like you said, you read the article. I was rereading stuff too because I was like, no, hold up, I must have missed something. I had to read it twice because some of the comparisons between the performance and the and some of the aspects of opera that the writer was bringing up, like, didn't really make sense to me. Didn't really connect. Like, you're supposed to, when you're comparing things, like, if especially if the comparison is not as fluid as like maybe you would want it to be, like you must bring out things in in the writing that the reader can connect, because I was like, these things are connecting to me, and I was thinking maybe like because I'm not really into opera, like maybe I'm just missing something, maybe like I just don't know, especially when you're reading about something that is not in your expertise. Like I was thinking it was me, and then I came here and talked to you about it, and I was like, oh, Katie be writing dissertations, and Katie been masters and research.
You came here and talked to me,
and she just been talking about her comp exam, and she writing 47 pages. And
you came here and talked to me, and
right, all that I just said. And so I was like, well, maybe it's not just me.
So basically, the article, what the writer attempts to do is to say that the opera world should take notes from Beyonce's performance because of her incorporation of blackness into a white space. I'm being nice because she didn't say that, but basically the gist is that you should, about incorporating blackness into a white space, how there should be more black faces in the opera world, and maybe how we should program more black things, but that really wasn't clear to me. So, let's see. So she talks about how the stage is not welcoming to black people, and we understand this because that's why there's this podcast, right? We understand that the classical world has not always been welcoming to black people, and as we get on through history, and as we continue to grow as people and pick up this dusty country, slowly but surely, we're seeing more and more black faces appear in traditionally white spaces. So she opens the article talking about Mary Anderson, who was an African-American opera singer who had to perform on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. Yeah. Because she wasn't allowed to perform in major opera halls, opera stages, and then jumps forward to talk about how she then performed at the Metropolitan Opera House. She should have just started there. Yes, because it's an article about opera.
That's what I just like. That's what I thought too, because you should have started there because it has more parallels to what you're talking about. You're trying to highlight the parallels between these two performances and show like how opera can take notes from what Beyonce did. Well, her being the first black opera singer to sing in a role at the Met has more relevance to what Beyonce was doing as the first black woman to headline Coachella. But
then I was trying my best, because I try to keep an open mind when I read stuff. I try to take, it's impossible to take out your biases, however your biases, whatever, but I try to keep an open mind. Well, this one thing that threw me off and kind of left a bad taste in my mouth for the rest of the article was the fact that she said the symphony, which seems to be a dying form. And I was like, you cannot celebrate one aspect of classical music and scorn the other. You cannot celebrate opera and scorn symphony.
Who's in your pit, sis?
Exactly. in the same breath. That's not how it works. And if the symphony is dying, then
what you doing, opera with no music? But you putting a CD in?
That's the first thing. And the second thing is that means the opera is also dying. Especially, like, maybe I'm biased because I want to be in the opera. That's what I want to do. I want to go down the opera road. However, if you're saying the symphony is dying, opera, how does opera relate to Americans who the majority of these things are written in German and Italian? So which one is dying more? melodies that you might not understand that has no words to it, or things that are way too long, 3-4 hours long in a language that you don't understand. The arguments, it's 6 in one, half dozen in the other. Like, you cannot celebrate opera and try to put down the symphony. That just didn't make sense to me. So that was hard for me to understand. And you want to say, she said she wants to feel a little bit of homecoming in the opera house, but it's not clear what she means. So do you mean that you want to have more Black people in the opera house? Which, yes, we are desperately trying, sis, and you should do your research. And I don't want to say too much because her studies are in this is her area of expertise,
which confused me,
which was very confusing.
It was very and I found that out after I read the article, because I already, before I knew that, was like but then I was like, that confuses me even more. I don't know what happened, because it was just, I don't know, there was just some things that I was just like, I don't understand. Like, I feel like she elaborated on the wrong things rather than elaborating on the things that, like, that seemed like they could have made, like, a good point. Because a lot of the things that she was talking about that didn't make any sense were the things that she went more in depth on. When we already brought out the point about the comparison that she should have made in the beginning. The things that you would have had a point on, you skimmed over.
Exactly.
Which doesn't make it, maybe you had too much faith in the point, and we're just like, well, I don't even gotta explain
carry
this.
It itself.
Yeah, but it didn't. So
it really didn't.
Like,
and she said something about, you know, the Central Park 5. Like, there's that opera, what is it called? Do you remember? I'm not gonna put you on the spot. It's fine.
What, the Central Park 5?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's the opera. That's what it's called.
Okay. So the Central Park 5, there's an opera in the works that's going to be premiered sometime this year, which might be out right now, actually, or coming out soon. And about what happened to the Central Park 5. And so do you mean it that way? Like, we need to have more Black works? Then in that case, then people should write them. Like, in the case of Central Park 5, and then we could see that. So we don't have to rely on Porgy and Bess if we want to see Black faces in the operatic world. Then write them. And I'm not saying, like, I don't know. I'm only hip to the people writing the classical music. That's all I know. I don't know. Someone could correct me if there are people writing Black operas and stuff like that. I mean, we do have lest we forget, Carmen, a hip opera,
which stars Beyonce herself.
Which stars Beyonce.
Title role.
What a doozy, that one. But so we have that, but then this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey for me, because it's like, to me as a classical musician, I think classical music can exist on its own without the help of outside influences. And Black people can enjoy classical music without it having to be blacked up for us. Like, we can go, I mean, like, yeah, do we sing I Got a little bit of lean to it? Of course, because we were extra and annoying and lit. So yeah, we do that, and that's fine. And there's a place for that, and there's a time for that. And if you want to write an opera that has that, that's fantastic. But
imagine.
But if we want to see the hip opera come to the Met, then fine, let's do that. I mean, you're not gonna put no tape in, orchestrate it, so it can be done. You know, there's a way to do.
Use the MIDI instruments, because you could do that.
But like, to me, like, I don't think that classical music has to be blacked up for Black people to be able to consume it. And it's like, we want to see more Blackness in these white spaces. Of course, we want to see more variety than Porgy and Bess. We want to see more.
Y'all already whiting that up anyway.
Well,
per our last story, so
right. We want to see more Black people on the stage. There's people working tirelessly to help get that 4% up. You know, like, there's people working towards that. It's gonna take time, but I just have a problem. I have a problem with, like, people, especially, like, she's a musicologist so I guess it's a little different, but it's like, understand the whole thing before you start saying. And it's like, also, this was not, yes, the opera world can take notes about diversity and programming, but this is also, while a fantastic performance, is not really comparable to that of opera, except you have a bad mama that's coming down here letting the girls know.
Yeah.
Carmen, sure. Who was a seductress. That's not who Beyonce is.
I just feel like it was weird, because the title implied that she was going to to highlight aspects of Beyonce's performance that could be incorporated into opera, but then it ended up being a bunch of comparisons that didn't really work. So I'm like, are you trying to say that they are similar, or trying to point out ways that they could, you know, be similar? And I feel like had she maybe spent more time doing that, then it would have landed better. Because one of the other things that she wrote that I think was not panned out well was that she pointed out that historically, like, the female characters in operas are princesses and queens and royalty, and that Beyonce highlighted more working class individuals by bringing in bands from HBCUs and having the black orchestra and having the Greek life aspects, and she brought in, like, you know, just regular normal people for that kind of stuff, and that's something that maybe people could relate to more in opera. But I just panned that out for her. I just said people could relate more to that in opera. Right. She did not say that.
Exactly.
She just was like, she brought in more working class characters, but Beyonce she oscillates between royalty because she's Queen Bee, but then she also can be relatable. How? She didn't even say how Beyonce was relatable. Exactly. Beyonce's not relatable to me.
Beyonce has money.
Like I get like her blackness. Like, the only thing I could think of that will make Beyonce a common or relatable character, which is the words that she used, is like how she uses her blackness and how she shows that, like, I'm still black, I'm not gonna lose this because I have money and because I'm famous. But she didn't say that. I just said that. And like, you should have like that's just the only thing I could possibly think that she's trying to get at. But instead she only mentioned the Queen Bee part, which is the exact opposite of what you just said, because you said that we should be having less royalty in opera and more working class. So I'm like, that's just something that I'm like, this is how you could have panned it out, but then you didn't. So I'm very confused, and also as to how that even works.
And to your point, it's like, for such sweeping generalizations and like really incohesive arguments, the article was very short. Like, it was very surprising to me. Like, if you're gonna say stuff like this, and also I don't want not even a little bit more. I needed more for you to drive the point home. It just was like very like just things that exist on their own but don't really work together.
And if you were going to have like a certain, like, if you want to shorten the article, you took the wrong stuff out. You know, if maybe you possibly did address these points that we're bringing up, but then it had to be shorter, you took the wrong stuff out.
Yeah,
for real. Like,
for real. I mean, I feel like this could have been a dope article. I mean, I don't know how, to be honest, because even when I saved the article, I was like, I'm really curious to see how this is gonna go, because it wasn't an opera. There was no storyline. I mean, you had the Bugaboos doing their thing, but even then, it's like, who are the Bugaboos and what's the? I mean, what was it? Beta, Alpha, Kappa? Is that what they're? Is that what they're pledging? But did they make it? Did they make the cut? Did they, you know, like the Bugaboo story? I think it was more of an aspect. The inclusion of the Bugaboos, rather, I think it was more of an aspect of blackness than it was a storyline,
which is what the title implies, but not the thing. Like, I feel like the comparisons to opera is what threw me off, because you should have been like, well, Beyonce does this is how it could be cohesively incorporated into opera, not Beyonce does this and opera does this. It's the same, because it's not, because
you're making me trying to figure out like how is this going to work as an opera when there's no storyline, there's no antagonist, like it doesn't work, you know. And so I don't know, it was weird. I thought it was sloppily written,
especially considering
her background. Maybe I'm missing something. Like, a lot of people have been going around, you can slide into my DMs and tell me if I'm missing something, but to me it's just like,
I don't know if they thought wasn't nobody gonna like read into it that much, or what, was it just written because they wanted to have something in reference to Homecoming, or what? But I just don't think, like, from especially maybe they weren't but her research is in opera. I was about to say maybe they weren't expecting so many people who are in the field of classical music to like get into it.
And that's another assumption. Like, just because we in classical music don't mean we just. I think my upstairs neighbor be so confused with me, because if it's Easter Sunday, you know, I got my Kirk Franklin. It's Sunday, I got my Kirk Franklin booming. I have my ratchet playlist going if I'm getting ready, and then she hear me playing Bach. So she's like, "What is it, sis?"
I screenshotted my YouTube recommendations. It had Kirk Franklin, then Misha Maisky playing Bach, then Relax by YG, then another Kirk Franklin. So I was like,
And then I have Crystal and Kid Fury yelling because I usually keep it up loud because I'm usually moving around doing something. I got Crystal and Kid Fury yelling something else. So it's like she's probably like, "What's going on?"
Right. She got 3 roommates down there.
Exactly.
Y'all got a priest and then a hairdresser who work off of her couch with her bamboos on, and then an orchestral musician. I don't get it.
Like I know I'll be so confusing, but that's an assumption that you made, that like classical musicians listen to one thing, or they only listen to this type or this realm. Like no, like we like the same people that be twerking to Cardi B be right there in Kodak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like another point of this podcast is like we're not just one dimensional. So it's like I think the article honestly would have been even better if it was just if it was just like notes that the classical music profession can take from Beyonce. That might have been way better than. And even then, I don't even think that fits better. But also,
it's not. That's not even specific to Beyonce.
That's not even specific.
Yeah.
And then also, it could have just been like the way Beyonce did stuff. It could have been about anything. It could have been about how we as Black people should take notes from Beyonce. And this was one of my overall takeaway from this. How I said this last week. Relax. But how we as Black people can take notes from Beyonce, because oftentimes we're taught or we feel that we have to dumb down our Blackness or make it less than to fit into white spaces. And Beyonce went right up there in Coachella in front of all them girls in their little flower crowns and was like, it's time to be Black. Y'all know what time it is. And it's like, that would have been a way better article. Someone write that.
You should write it. So you over here thinking up stuff. Okay. I didn't know it was going to be all this. I didn't know
Are you done? Y'all, this is the last episode. I know every week I say this, but honestly, like, my soul is weary.
Katie for Prez.
Of this country?
Well, actually, I wouldn't wish that on you, so.
I thought we were friends. I would be president of any other country. Hell, North Korea. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't been able, before we recorded, we tried to look up some people that we knew that shared it, see what was in the comment sections to like get a gauge of like how other people were feeling about it. I went on CNN's website and their Facebook page, see if anybody commented. There were no comments. I looked up other people that I didn't know who shared it, because it has like a thing like this many shares. Yeah. I clicked on those Facebook profiles, no discussion. So if you have a opinion, if you've seen Homecoming, if you've read this article, like please comment, because
let's get a discussion going, because maybe we missed it because me and Delaney both wrote up like so this episode ain't gonna really go the way we thought, because I wanted to be like and then you really could do this, and it just wasn't that. And like the more that like I said before, the more I think through it, there's really not a great application of what Beyonce did. I mean, there are some, but it's not a superb application of what Beyonce did to the classical music world, except that Black people should stand in their greatness, and we can celebrate the versatility of classical musicians. I saw Jessica Majunkins. I saw you up there, sis, and doing your thing. Like if we can talk about aspects of we can write an article about how Beyonce celebrates the classical musician world, and how and that we can do something like that. Mm-hmm. That makes better sense to me than making like a blanket statement about how Beyonce, how her performance can inform the operatic world. Mm-hmm. We're already trying to get more we are trying hard, sis. We are trying to get more Black people into this profession. Mm-hmm. And if you did a little bit of research, I mean like a simple Google search, you'd have known that.
Good sis Google.
Available 24/7 for your learning pleasure. A simple Google search. I mean, if you type access in classical music or Blackness in classical music, I bet you within the first 20 hits, it's gonna be that speech that Erin Dworkin gave at Carnegie Hall.
Classically Black podcast. I'm gonna Google it.
Now we gonna have her and her people anyway. But let us know. I'm gonna implore you to join the discussion. I'm gonna see what we can set up on Instagram so we can. Are you done? So we can have a conversation about this. Maybe we missed something, but and also we're talking about Beyonce. Like what a great topic to talk about.
And if you have anything negative to say about Beyonce, just keep it to yourself.
I mean, because a lot of people be like, she's overrated. I don't.
If you don't like Beyonce's music, whatever.
That's one thing, but it's like
it's
Beyonce is so much bigger than her music. At this point, it's like you could say someone like Drake is overrated. You could say the Migos are overrated. Cardi B, you know, people who are superstars. You know, big like people who can't go outside without being, you know, whatever
mobbed.
Yeah. People like that, Cardi B, I don't even think the Migos are there, but like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, those type of people, you can talk about them and be like, they are overrated. I love Cardi B. She's really overrated. I stand her. I like her. She's ratchet. She's fun. She's overrated because she don't even write her own rap. Just people who rap better than her. You know what I'm saying? Who don't have people write it for her. But to talk about, to deduce Beyonce and what she's doing in her career, it's just her music, I think, is just really lazy. And you know, ain't nobody asked you to say all that. So let us know what you think. Join the discussion, and we are moving on.
Right. It's Black Excellence.
Black Excellence, where we hype you up, gas you up, and give you your props because there is room for everybody at the top. And this week we are talking about Shanyse Strickland.
Hey, Niecy.
Not Niecy. Not Niecy. Okay. So, Shanyse is a French horn player. Well, she do a whole bunch of stuff, actually. I ain't finna hold you. So, what did he say? Shanyse is a primary French horn player, flautist, and she's a singer. She also... Okay, I'm done. I quit, I promise. She is from... I don't think she's from Pittsburgh, but I know she did her graduate studies at... How do you say the school?
What's it called? Duquesne? Duquesne's?
Is that what it is?
Duquesne?
not the...
No, I know this because my friend applied there. Duquesne, I think.
They have a really good music school.
Yeah, my friend that goes to Carnegie Mellon that we met, she was between Carnegie Mellon and Duquesne, I think. Or Duquesne.
Yeah. The S throws me off.
Yeah.
Why?
I think the S is silent, though.
What? And what? Okay.
I think it's Duquesne or something.
Yeah, okay. So she was...
The university
in Pittsburgh. Now she's a freelance musician, and recently, well, she since been sickening because she performs with the Pittsburgh Chamber Music Society. She doing little stuff with that. Yeah, she out here. She be da. But recently she has been selected to perform on July 11th this year at Ace Hotel Pittsburgh. And she will be out here being sickening. Let me read this, see what she says. But yeah, she will be performing with her and a bunch of other musicians there, so go check her out. Also, what's really cool about her is that she does a bunch of genres, so she's not just classical music. Because I met Shanyse at, I met her at Sphinx. I also met her, we did a music festival, I just can't remember which one it was. Not being shady, I really don't remember it. I really don't.
Oh, you over here, I don't usually be going to music festivals. Let's narrow it down.
Anyway, check Shanyse out. We'll let her go ahead and follow her. My sister's sickening. And when you got a piece of the week, let's get out of here.
Oh dang, that was my responsibility, huh? Well, I could just look at my my recent plays, because usually I just go through phases of listening to things. So, but you know what? Lately I've been listening to, it's not my piece of the week because it doesn't count, but I've been listening to Ooh.
Yeah, they hate, but they broke though. And when it's time to pop, they a no show.
Ay,
yeah, I'm pretty, but I'm local. Ay, the loud got me moving slow mo. Hey, yo, Tweety with a hoes though.
Hey,
dang, you really know the word.
Yeah, that other he a bozo.
Yeah, we got liquor by the boat. Look, that Henny. Disrespect that life. That's a no. I'm on
dressed in that rojo.
I ride for my dog. That's a bro code. Baby gave me head. That's a low blow. Then she made me weep when she. That song is low key nasty.
But you know what? The song I like, her Tatiana remix is so good. You know my favorite line is, I can't say it on here, and I won't. But I haven't been listening to classical music all that much lately.
I feel like a little cleanse.
Right. But you know what I have been listening to since I recently playing it is the Bruch Violin Concerto.
Oh yeah, I really like. Any movement in particular?
Is that your piece of the week? Yes, it's gonna be my piece of the week. I like all of them honestly, but probably the first movement will be my favorite, and then there's this one part in the last movement, but it's particular. I'm very much of like, I like this recording, and so I listen to Joshua Bell's recording. This is so good. Like
that's the unfortunate thing about Joshua Bell. He's very good.
Like there's just one, like just some of the part, like I'm just like, I don't know. I have to listen to other people to see if they also do it, but just this like one, but the way he plays it's just so good.
I mean, he was doing a lot in that dress rehearsal. I was like, if your F-holes are turned around, I can't hear you. But
his back be all bent back by
I'm
like
right,
a less than sign. Now he a 90-degree angle. I'm like, bro.
Right. I'm like, come on, Simone Biles. What we doing?
Come on, Lizzie Sterling. But yeah, that's gonna be my piece of the week. But I've been listening to that. I haven't been listening to classical music all that much because
wow. Nah.
But yeah, I've been listening to that Young and May. I might listen to some other stuff, but that's the only two I've been listening to by her recently. But yeah.
Well, thank you so much for listening to Classically Black Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on
you didn't have to be all deliberate. Classically Black Podcast.
One of the viewers in my orals told me I should slow down when I speak. I'm like, they've been telling me this since high school, sis. Maybe not high school, since undergrad. So it's slowed down a lot, believe it or not. There are little times where like I'll say something very, very fast, like and people be like, wait, hold on. Like it'd be like a gnat. It'd be like,
all right.
But he was like, maybe speak a little bit slower. I was fumbling around a little bit more because I literally prepared. I'm not gonna say that. I'll tell you later. But don't forget to follow us on social media at Classically Black Podcast at Gmail. Wait.
See? I was looking at you.
You suck for that.
I didn't do anything.
Follow us on follow us.
Bye, y'all. What they gotta follow us on? You gotta say it. That was hilarious. Follow us on Instagram at Classically Black Podcast at gmail.com. That's our Instagram. That is our Instagram account. Type in the whole thing.
Can I say it, please, so I can leave? Follow us on social media at Classically Black Podcast. Don't forget to email us if you have piece of the week suggestions.
Man, we get eye contact this whole time.
Black excellence suggestions, intermission suggestions, and the like to Classically Black Podcast at gmail.com. And we will talk to you on next week.
Bye, y'all.
Arrivederci forever.
All right.